A pleasant good morning to one and all. Good morning to all you students, those who were in the schoolyard and those who entered the classroom as soon as the program went live in a short while ago. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today is Monday, the 22nd day of July, 2024. Welcome to this episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I hope you are looking forward to a productive week. I hope you had a wonderful week because we last met before the last Wednesday. That was the last day of class. And I did indicate to you that due to certain commitments, there would be no class during last week. So we had no class Monday. We had no class Wednesday. And we weren't able to make it up during the course of last week. But as I promised, we will do our best to make up so that you can get back those lessons and the sessions. So here we are once again, Monday, the 22nd day of July 2024 for another episode. And again, I must compliment all you students who were there in the schoolyard early this morning, just waiting. And again, I got to say, messages all week last week. People keep messaging, what happened to the program? They expressed concern. They wanted to know if I was okay. I am okay, folks. I am okay. I am okay. And I had some commitments during the course of last week, which I'll tell you about shortly. But again, let me say that this is the day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks for being in the land of the living. As you would have guessed, having not had any classes last week, Monday and Wednesday, things pile up. We have a lot of stuff to tell you about. With all the developments, with the corruption investigation, allegations, and all of that, we have a lot of information, some fresh information to bring to your attention, and we will do so. My colleague, Mr. Conway, is already in the studio, ready, rearing, and waiting to get involved and to start his teachings. So, as I've said, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it, as is customary. Well, before I go there, let me say this. I had some serious challenges this morning. Technical computer. At one stage, I felt that maybe I would not be able to bring the program because the computer that I was normally use suddenly decided that it's not charging, it's not holding any charge at all. And I was concerned because only recently, a few months ago, I changed the battery on that computer. But then it just decided it's not charging. It goes up to 8%, and then it goes right down back and it shuts down. And I have to do a little magic to get the next computer, borrow computer and all of this to be here this morning. But it was a little stressful when I realized, got up this morning to schedule the program I scheduled the program just about 7, and these challenges were encountered. But I was able to overcome them. And as I've said to you repeatedly, nothing will stop us from coming here and telling you the truth. Whatever challenge, whether it's technical challenge, whether it's them interfering with the signal, we are going to do our very best to make sure that we can get here to give you the information. Yeah, so that challenge seems to have been overcome. When I finish here, I have to go and look at that computer, get somebody to look at it because it is just not charging. And as I said, this morning it went up to 8%. And then it started to drop back right down to 5, and then it shut down. So that is where we are. So I'm going to do some announcements, and after the announcements, then we're going to go into the program. But let me tell you, having regards to all that I just said in terms of the challenges, I then realized that the first 45 persons who are in this morning are no longer listed in the chats. But I made a note, so I'm going to call those names. 45 just drop out. Like that, those who came in between 7:03 and 7:25 are no longer on the chat, and that's because of getting in and out of the platform. I think those early names were removed from the chat. Announcement: the last time we spoke, I did announce the death of retired Corporal Rigby, Anthony Rigby, cricketer. 12769 was his number, stationed a long time at the TSU. Well, the arrangements for his funeral, I learned that he will be buried on the 26th of this month. That's 26th is Friday. The funeral service, they say viewing at Sandy's Funeral Home for 1 p.m. Funeral service from 2 to 3 p.m. at the same location and then burial will take place after at Larry Pontier Cemetery. That is the funeral arrangement for Rigby. I know enough of the guys here from TSU, former cricketers, current cricketers, will want to go and pay their respects. So that is on Friday at La Pontier, Sandy's Funeral Home, 1 o'clock viewing, and church service from 2 to 3. And then we have a death of a former member, might not be known to many of you, but he is my countryman, or he was my countryman, John Campbell. John Campbell joined the force some years ago, and he used to be stationed at the transport workshop. I think he was a welder there. I got news yesterday morning that he passed. And then over the weekend, we learned that Rambo Gaskin, the older folks will remember Ramon Gaskin, known as Rambo. He passed away over the weekend, they said, at age of 82. Somebody told me he was not doing well for some period. But we know Rambo was a firebrand. He was everything. There was never a fight that Rambo did not get involved in, whether it was politics, whether it was trade unionism. He was involved in everything. Only recently, I think he had a case all the way to the CCJ. So yeah, Rambo passed away over the weekend. And this morning, I learned that one of our students here, Junior Pollard, who came on this morning, his father, who is also a countryman, Cecil Pollard, passed away yesterday. I want to express condolences to the relatives, friends of all those deceased persons, and hope that they rest in peace and rise in glory. So we have those death announcements. And in terms of other announcements, birthday. Now, first of all, let me do the belated birthday greetings. I'm going to do the belated birthday greetings first. And belated birthday greetings go to retired Superintendent Albert Connell. Albert celebrated a birthday about a week and a half ago. But we had no program, so I could not have congratulated him on reaching this milestone. But Albert, old TSU man, the man from Scrooner, the older police will know. Albert will know. I'm sure when you heard that, he will laugh. Albert from Scrooner. And then we had also the birthday of one recent birthday, a student here this morning. You don't miss a class. Clarence Hudson. He had a birthday recently. Also retired Deputy Superintendent Theo Crandon. Theo had a birthday recently. Former Director of Prison, Byron Henry. He too had one. Then a squad mate of CC, Keith McDonald, 1972 McDonald, old TSU man, and then he went to the CID lab, and I think he lives now in Antigua. I met him there many years ago when he worked as a prison officer in Antigua. And then we also have Dennis Oresho, old traffic man. When I was a traffic chief for a time, Dennis was my traffic education officer. I think his number was 8318. I get to know and I'm forgetting these things, but I believe that somewhere around that thing would have been Dennis's number, 8318 Oresho. We also have a birthday recently of Neville Smith, who is one of my Facebook friends. And we had Leroy Charles, former rank from the finance office, 10918 was his number. Leroy had a birthday recently. And the last belated birthday, I want to mention a student, Cheryl Pancham. Cheryl Pancham celebrated a birthday recently. I want to wish all those persons who celebrated birthday recently all the best. And before I announce this, let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we're going to deal with the other announcement that we're going to do. But let me do the roll call first. I skipped the order. Let me do the roll call, and then I'm going to come to the other announcements. But let me do the roll call quick. When we schedule this morning, just about 7, as I've said, the first 45 persons. So I'm going to call those names, but they're going to appear on the chat or on the screen. Aubrey Pantlis came in for us at 7:03. He was followed by Derek Trotman. Then Junior Pollard came at 7:04. Condolences to you, Junior, on the passing of your father. David Austin came. Anthony Bradshaw, the man from Peters Hall. Ian Lucius from Maryland. Sean Rabenjanat came in next. Peter Noons. Vibert John. Carlton Lewis, my squad mate, came in just after 7. Patricia Gravesandi. Ezra Rowe. Barbara Barrington, Winston Collins, Joan Robinson, Tessa Isaacs from Florida. Then we had Monica Oligan. Then we have Sharwin Pierce, Tiffany Smith, Charles Goodman, the one and only BX, he came in at 7:10. Annette Cummins, Clive Nestor from the UK came in at 7:12. Marcus. Then we have Gavin Jakey came in at 7:13. And Sean Maxwell came in at 7:13. Floyd Toppin, same time. John Cummins, Sandra Anova, Anka Paul, Clarence Hudson, happy belated birthday again to you, Clarence. Joseph McDonald, Earl Abrams, Colin Stanford from Queens. We had Rhonda Chance, Gaston Taylor, my squad mate from Canada. Then we have Patrick Gittins. Then I think, then we have Richard Truss, Raheem. The original black man came in at 7:21. Lynette Fraser from the UK at 7:22. Brian and Courtney Saul came at 7:23. Ronald Jonas came at 7:24. Bonita came in at 7:25. But all those names were taken out from the chat. And the first person to appear here now is Emerson Harris. Winston came next from California. Then we had Forbes. Then it was Elton, Emerson again, Allison, George, and this is George Mars, Felicia, Wayne from the UK came in at 7:31, Glendis, then Princess Earl from Lama Springs, then it was Terrence from Canada, 9795, then we had Orin Baird from the UK, then followed by Sydney, followed by Winston from the UK, Paul Archer. Paul, I hope you're following the going on in Bisley, man. Bisley, that man shooting up a storm in the UK there. Annual Bisley Championship. For those of you who don't know, Bisley is the place in England there, Surrey, England, where all the top marksmen of the world, rifle shooters, full bore shooters, gather around this time of the year to test their skills against the wind and against all the conditions and so on. So that is going on right now. It ends on Saturday. Then we have Kevin came next, Marcia, Evanlina, Puran. Puran is from the Region 2. He said greetings from Region 2. And Puran came back in another comment to tell us that he is visually impaired. So visually impaired Puran is here to I'm speaking out. Welcome, my brother. Pauline is here. And then we have, after Pauline, it's Princess again. Then we have Malcolm, and this is Malcolm Robinson, Mary Smith, Raul, my Redmond friend, Ezzy, Andre Saul. Then I can't recall seeing this person before. Good Music 284. I like good music too. And I'm going to play some music here today. Then we had Kenneth from Maryland. Then it was, after Kenneth, it was Francis Keith from Melanie Namashana. And here Puran is telling us here that he is visually impaired. I announced it a while ago. Colin from New Jersey, Roderick, Inferno Boss is here. Then it's followed by Anthony, Queenie, Liz, Debbie, Monica, O'Neill, Court, Samuel. I can't recall seeing Samuel before. Maybe he was. Umi is here. Morty, welcome Morty. Morty Mamingo, former regional chairman, Region 10, is here with us. Carville, Tiabian 123 is here. Carl, the next Carl Johnson is here. I met Jono some weeks ago. Magnell, then it is Vibert, and this is Vibert Larson. We got several Viberts. Then we have Norbert. Can't recall seeing Norbert before too. Then it's Gary, Bert, Ulrich from Crane, David, Lindo, Patrick, and this is Patrick McKay, Jacko from Georgia. Then we have Patricia from Brooklyn, Keith Allen, I know he's from Barbados, Barlett from in the Hills, Lynette Scotland, Ovid George, who says his regulation number was 0937. I remember Ovid Connolly. Then it was Cecile. Danny is here. Patricia, and this is Patricia Artley. Devian, my squad mate, 9414. Carl from Arizona is here. Dwayne, Kerry, Roger, Kevin, Doreen, my squad mate from Canada. And it's another Vibort Smith. Vibort is here, Smith. Then it's Gordon. Gordon's from Canada. Then he's from Florida. Everett from Texas. Marcus Paul is here. Maury from Brooklyn. Fort Valley. Gibbo is in the house. Pamela from West Coast, Demerara. Oswald is here. Cello came in at 10:59. Then it was Fergus, Michael Brower, R. Crawford. One is who is this R. Crawford? And then we have Dylan, Joy, another Saul Grantley, another R. Lorraine, and then Siobhan was the last person in on YouTube before we went live. When we went live, the first person, Edward always seemed to be the first on Facebook. Then we had Theodore, we had Karen, Emerson, Elvis, and the list goes on and on. Bonita. Well, we begin Mr. Conway, and then we are going to make that other announcement, and we are going to go into the program. Please be welcome.
Thank you very much. Happy to be in the land of the living. We were away for 1 week, but it looked like it's maybe about 6 weeks. And I had so many calls. People want to know what happened with us, whether we abandoned them or that kind of thing. But we're going to make up. Now, let me shout out to Dennis Horatio, 8318. I met him when I was a constable at my county. He was a traffic man there, and I learned so much from him from traffic. Also, he introduced me to drinking rum at a place called Gonzalez Rum Shop, And also Albert Connell. Belated birthday, Albert. I know we work well at the then police training school. We were instructors. I remember we used to cover for one another. I remember they had an incident and his wife tackled him, and he said, no. Since you're a con, you don't say it's Connell, but I get Conway. And it's Conway and Connell, and she approached me, and I admit, I said, it wasn't me, but I said, yeah, man, it's me, thing. So we used to cover for one another. Derek, you got a silver medal this time. I remember you got 2 gold medals, and we didn't get a chance to drink the wine. Maybe it's chilling out. And Rigby, I know Rigby well. And I remember he was recruited. I think you had something to do with it, Paul, where he was recruited, especially for cricket. Baram Ragabir was a cricket man. And I can recall, he was a very good friend of Gus Logie. Gus Logie used to send all his gears and things. They play, I think, on the 19 cricket together. And I remember an incident with Rigby, where the commissioner was the then Baram Ragabir. And he had wanted to see the capability, the response of the TSU rat unit. So I think he gave them about an hour or so notice and said they must fall in. So they fell in on the square, and they grab up some men, and just give them, you put gun in their hand and thing. And Ragabir, keen as he was, he started to question them one by one. And when he reached to Rigby, he asked us, he said, you never use this gun. Rigby had a rifle. He said, you never use this weapon. And Rigby said, no, sorry. And all hell broke loose. And I learned from that incident that I was a junior officer then. And I learned that whenever I see ranks with weapon, I always ask them, when last you shoot this weapon? You ever shoot this weapon? And it'd be amazing. Sometimes you found that the men didn't shoot a weapon for 4 years. And Paul, we used to get an annual shoot where all the ranks used to go to Timeri and shoot. But I know it's going on now, But sometimes you find 3-4 years, men never shoot the weapon. And some of them never shoot the weapon. Remember, Sila Posada, some 3-month-old police. And all they used was a revolver and a shotgun. And they got out to station. I'm sure that they're using the rifles and other weapon when they weren't trained to use them. Anyway, we have much more to talk about, so let me come out for a while.
Yeah, I remember that incident with Rigby very well. I was part of it. I think I was an inspector then. And Winston Gordon Felix was the OCTSU. And Raghavir came, and Raghavir decided to inspect the standby unit. I think we had Operation Warden or something like that. And he said, fall in the unit. And I scrambled and put people there in the right unit on the TSU screen, number 1 rifleman. Just give them so. And as you said, when Balram going through, and he saw Rigby, he said, Rigby, what are you doing with a rifle? You ever use this firearm? Rigby said, no, sir. By and as you say, all hell broke loose. And Felix will tell you from that day on, we learned our lesson. Every single rank had to be adequately trained, refresher training, and the like. That was a lesson, that was a teaching lesson to us. That was way back in what, 1984 or sometime around then. Remember, Mr. Felix, young superintendent, came there as the officer in charge, and he relates that story frequently when we meet. So yeah, condolences to all those who have passed. Now let me say this before we go to that special announcement. I wasn't here last week, and people wanted to know why, whether I had issues, health issues. No. I attended a World System Builders Financial Literacy Convention in Las Vegas, Nevada. Yeah, I've been to Vegas. I went to Vegas for the convention. The convention, I went there Sunday, came back Friday. Fantastic event, teaching you about financial management and financial solutions and so on. And let me say this, because they tell you that the information you get, the knowledge you acquire, should not keep it to yourself. I have had sessions, some of you here would have benefited from the sessions, virtual sessions I've had. And it's open to all those of you who feel that you want to know something about financial management, retirement plan, and this type of thing. Hit me up, and I can arrange for you to be a part of it. It is very, very, very educational, and it costs you nothing. It cost me a lot to go there and to stay in hotel and all of that. But I can tell you that if you want, and you, especially those people in North America, because it's a program designed for, well, not only North America, but they have other places in Asia and so on. But Canada and the US, people in Guyana and so on, I have had sessions with people from Guyana just for them to understand how these things work. I mean, retirement account, annuities, and the like. So those of you who are in the US, especially those of you around Brooklyn and so on, hit me up, give me your number or give me a call, and I can arrange for you to benefit from that that education. I know some people on here right now were already, I already had interactions with them. So let me don't be shy. It's not anything to sell you anything or like that. It's just to give you what we believe is vital information. And once you get it, then you can decide how to move forward. They say information is always good. Information is key. So that is why I was not here last week. I had nothing to do with any health issue. I'm enjoying good health, thank the Lord. Nothing to do with any court matter, as some people might have suggested. Not a thing, nothing like that. It's just this convention that I went to. Now, let me say this, Mr. Conway. You know, today, let me bring in CC and we can talk together. CC, today is the Acting Commissioners Board Day. Clifton Aiken, Acting Commissioner. I don't know if it's 57, 58, 59. I don't know what number is this, but there is circulating on social media what appears to have been a message, poorly worded indeed, but a message. And it says here, let me read what it says. This is what the message says. And apparently it was intended for ranks. I don't know if it's ranks all over the force or ranked in a particular section or particular division. But here what it says. Good afternoon all. Please be informed that Commissioner Board Day is on the 22nd of July 2024. Hence the region, and they said the region area are required, that's what they're saying, the region area are required to present a gift, and the following ranks are required to make contributions. Officers, $25,000. Inspectors, $20,000. SO in charge of station, outposts, and sections, $15,000. These contributions must be submitted no later than tomorrow, 20th of July, 2024 at 12 hours. This is what is circulating. And when I see this, I said, no, this can't be true. And I haven't seen anything from the police refuting this thing. I said, no, this can't be true. And CCU and I know that when you're a commander, you hold certain position, you're a commissioner, the ranks will show their appreciation if it's a board day and they will buy you a gift. But nothing, no demands were made. no demands. It was voluntary. And to demand that officers pay $25,000 towards this effort, inspectors 20, and sergeants in charge of station 15,000. This is unbelievable, and this is what leads to corruption. Where is people going to get this money from? $25,000 from an officer is a significant percentage of his monthly salary. So what is it they are saying? CC, perhaps you can explain. Go ahead, man.
Let me use some words here, man. I saw it, and my little inquiries disclose that it's originating from region one. Region one. You know, I have good memories of region one. I got my post promotion there. You know, as commander for that region also. And I understand that it is. Let me use the word. It is compulsory that the ranks volunteer to 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 give up the money. And we're talking about millions of dollars, millions and millions of dollars. And then by the board, I'm not certain which one of the board certificates they use. You know, certainly it cannot be the one that he presented to the police when he became a member of the special constabulary. So I know which board certificate that was they using or that was presented. But it's shocking that they're demanding that officers so much, inspectors so much, decision sergeants so much. And I said before, well, here somebody said it is compulsory that they volunteer the money.
Well, this is. I mean, you can't say unbelievable, but the things that are happening now in the force leaves you to scratch your head. But as I've said, providing a gift for the commander or for the commissioner is not something new. But I can't recall demands ever being made. People will volunteer and give what they can afford to give, and to show your appreciation. But if you don't appreciate, why must you be forced to give gift? And with all what I said, they get in, they still demanding ranks to provide money. But again, it's part of the decay in the force. This is evidence of a clear decline in the force, which we will speak about as we go on. We are going to speak about people being compelled. And with the nature, with the vindictive nature of some of these people now. And the ranks are going to try to provide, because if they don't, they are going to be victimized. They know that that's without a doubt. Either they get transferred or they get cowboy charges or all sort of things. So people are going to be forced to coerced into making these what they call quote unquote contributions, these to meet these unreasonable demands. That is what is going on. And when you talk about it, people are annoyed and they're vexed. They say you're attacking the organization. We're not attacking the organization. We are talking about corruption. We are exposing the corruption that is taking place. We have been talking about the corruption for years, for months, about the particular incident at the police credit union. And they sat there and they did nothing. They wait and wait and wait until the thing boil over. And then now they are saying that they are conducting an investigation. But we're going to talk about that a little more. Now, one of the things that came up over the weekend or during last week is our official gazette announcement. This is the 10th of July, Legal Supplement B, dated 10th of July 2024. And the Gazette says, direction by the Minister of Home Affairs made under the Police Act, Chapter 16:1, in exercise of the powers conferred upon me by Section 4 of the Police Act, I hereby direct as follows. The direction may be cited as the Deputy Commissioners of Guyana Police Force Direction 2024. And it says, there shall be 6 Deputy Commissioners of the Guyana Police Force. And this is made the 10th day of July 2024, signed Honorable Brindley Horatio Robeson Ben, MP, Minister of Home Affairs. Now, this caused a lot of confusion among a lot of people because people were talking about promotion, how the minister can promote people and all of that. But this is not a promotion, so let me clarify. It's not a promotion. The Police Act, and let me read the relevant section of the Police Act, that is Section 4. And listen carefully what Section 4 says. Section 4 says, the force shall consist of a commissioner and such number of deputy commissioners, assistant commissioners, senior superintendents, deputy superintendents, assistant superintendents, cadet officers, finance officers, quartermasters, communications officers, transport officers, band masters, inspectors, subordinate officers, constables, bandsmen, and band apprentices, as the minister may from time to time direct. So that is what they talk about. Uh, um, Assistant superintendents, all the ranks. In other words, they list all the ranks, and they say that that the minister of home affairs may from time to time direct the number of officers to be in any one of these ranks. So the minister issued this order to say that, right now, or up until this order, the establishment called for 4 deputy commissioners, and those deputy commissioners used to hold the position of admin, used to operations, CID, which is the Deputy Commissioner Law Enforcement, and Deputy Commissioner Special Branch. So it used to be 4. So now they are increasing it to 6. I must tell you too, because this is full disclosure. At one stage, I think during the early 80s, there was a deputy commissioner as the head of the Presidential Guard up to 1985, thereabout. Godfrey, Deputy Commissioner Godfrey, was promoted, and he was head of the president. That was controversial, President Guard. So at some stage, you add that. But to hear now that they are going to make, well, at least the law has been amended to cater for 6 deputy commissioners. One has to ask the question, what is the rationale for this? What is the rationale? Because currently, or up to then, 1 commissioner, 4 deputy commissioners, 12 assistant commissioners, I think it was 17 senior superintendents, 24 superintendents, and that was the breakdown. That is the establishment. But when you increase the number of deputy commissioners from 4 to 6, without commensurate increases to the ranks below, something wrong. I got to say that this is purely political. There can be no justification, managerial, logistical. There can be no justification other than political for the increase in the number of deputy commissioners in the Guyana Police Force. Because as it was, I got to use the percent as it was, you had 12 assistant commissioners, 4. So it's 3 to 1, right? So now that you increase the deputy, so I guess the ratio gonna also increase. At least now what you have, if you're giving it to 6, is 1 deputy commissioner to 2 assistant commissioner, if that is remained. It has remained, because it remains, because there's no indication that there will be increases along the other rank structures. And let me say further before I bring in Mr. Conway, there have been several studies on the modernization of the Guyana Police. 7. I was involved in a few. I'm sure Mr. Conway was as well. And none of these studies, none, ever envisaged, ever recommended an increase in the number of deputy commissioner, assistant commissioner, or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I can tell you this. I think it's the Simmons report, or one of those studies that was done years ago, recommended that the organization structure should be flattened. Because when I mean that, what I mean is the varying levels, because right now you have from commissioner right down to constable, sometimes 16 or 17 levels. And they recommended that the levels should be flattened. And one of the reports actually recommended that there should be 1 deputy commissioner, 1 commissioner, 1 deputy commissioner, and then they go on. So this here, what they talk about, flies in the face of all those recommendations. And I would like to know, what is the reason, apart from politics, is there any justification? Because here they tell you about to increase efficiency and management. Bull, you can increase the number of deputy commissioners in the force from 4 to 6 and expect that in itself will increase efficiency. I don't understand what is going on. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. He's been in training. He was part of these reform processes. Maybe he can explain a little even better than I can. CC, what is it with this increase in deputy commissioners?
It's shocking, very, very shocking. And as you mentioned, I was part of it. Captain Simmons used me extensively. We had lots and lots of discussion with them. And the current trend is, when you reform in the police force, is that you flatten the structure, as you mentioned, they flatten the structure. And yes, Captain Simmons recommended that you should have 1 deputy commissioner, 1 according to Captain Simmons' report. But then let me look at this thing practically, vacancies, that vacancies for 4 deputy commissioners. And over the years, none, the president did not appoint anybody as deputy commissioner. He get them masquerading as deputy commissioner ops, deputy commissioner admin, deputy commissioner special branch, deputy commissioner CID, and then I hear you know and again deputy commissioner Suku. You know, vacancy for 4, and they were making none. And lo and behold, they rush something in the official gazette. They're making 6 now. I wonder where the other 2 gonna be, and it got to be political. And then when you look at it, they talk about the consequential, that if you're going to make 2 additional deputy commissioner, it must flow down the line that you got to get 2 more assistant commissioner, 2 more senior superintendent, and increase the right down the line. So they got to be consequentials, as we say. And then the thing is that the span of control. Here's it: you have a commissioner got to deal with 5 deputy commissioners. One commissioner got to deal with 5 deputy commissioners. And right now you have the assistant commissioners who masquerading as deputy commissioner, and there's no unity. They're fighting on Mati. The assistant commissioner in charge of crime and the assistant commissioner on 4C. Terrible letters they exchanging between themselves there. Terrible, serious allegations. Amazing. And there it is. And these written things are submitted to the commissioner, or them council, the commissioner, the extended squatter, and he is doing nothing about it. So if you get 5 deputy commissioners, I don't know what's going on. The span of control. You get 1 commissioner has to deal with 5 deputy commissioners, and then get synergy, then get cooperation. Right now they're fighting on Mati. They fight who want to show up the other one, who want to say I better than this one, and the case may be. That it's amazing, and it got to be political. It got to be political. I can't see the increasing it to 6 deputy commissioners. So, and if you don't have a strong commissioner with strong leadership qualities to deal with 1 deputy commissioner, more so 6. But then there's a police force, and there's a minister Ben, and there goes the politics, the political intervention in the Ghana police force.
Now let me say this. The thing is, the minister has the authority under the law to do that. But then, what is the rationale for increasing the number of deputy commissioners? A force that is crying out about shortage. The acting commissioner all this year at the press conference talk about the inability to attract and retain ranks. So you have a shortage of ranks. You have people resigning, people leaving the job en masse, right? So there is no doubt that there is a shortage, perhaps at all levels. There's a shortage. And out of the blues, you deciding you're going to increase the number of deputy commissioners from 4 to 6. How do you justify that in a force that is shrinking? Because even if you increase the establishment down the line, even if you increase the establishment, you have admitted that you are unable to attract and retain suitably qualified ranks. So what is the rationale? What is the justification for increasing the number of deputy commissioners? And for those people who had asked the question, I want to let you know that Article 211 of the Constitution still applies, because the minister, under the Police Act, Chapter 16:01, Section 4, has the authority, as I read to you earlier, to increase the number of posts in each rank structure. And he has done so. But the Article 211 is clear about the appointment of commissioner and deputy commissioner. And the article says that the president should make that appointment, but he has to consult meaningful consultation with the leader of the opposition. He also has to consult with the chairman of the Police Service Commission, who must first consult with the other members of the commission. So y'all don't lose sight of this. Yes, the minister has the authority under the Police Act, even though it seems to be very irrational. He has the authority to increase not only deputy commissioners. The only rank he can't increase according to the law is commissioner, because they said there shall be one commissioner. And then it goes on to tell you about bondsmen and transport officer and all of those things, right? So he has the legal authority to do so. But what is the rationale? What is the rationale? Having increased the number from 4 to 6, having increased the establishment of the force, let's understand this clearly, because it's the establishment that is increased on paper. Don't get carried away. This is an increase in the establishment on paper. So based on this now, you're going to have 1 commissioner, 6 deputy commissioners, 12 assistant commissioners, 17 senior superintendents, and I think it's 24 superintendents. That's the breakdown, and it goes all in line. You can't remember all off the top of my head. But when it comes to commissioner and the deputy commissioner, Article 211 of the Constitution makes it clear that the president will make the appointment after consultation with the persons I mentioned above. Now, the other ranks, from inspector all the way to assistant commissioner, that is the Police Service Commission. And we note that for the past 2 years, over 2 years, there have not been any promotion at the senior level. The last promotion was that list that Mr. Conway refers to, when on the 1st of July 2022, the chairman of the Police Service Commission, the bishop, told the media on the sidelines of the police church service and the police anniversary church service that they weren't in a position to make any promotions as yet, because they had to look at files and all of that. That was on the 1st of July. And on the next day, the very next day, 250 something or some number like that promotions were made by the same Police Service Commission. Now, since then, they have not made any senior promotions. I understand, and I know there's a list circulating, that a recommendation was made, right? A recommendation was made for senior promotion from assistant commissioner all the way down maybe to inspector. And I understand that many names on the list have not found favors at certain places in Brickdam and Raab Street and Carmichael Street. The list, names on the list have not found favors, so that is why that list is held up since 2-3 weeks ago. That is my information. But you're talking about a force being demoralized and 2 years, no promotion. People are leaving the force en masse. So again, I say, even though the minister has the legal authority to increase the number, this thing, the way in which it is done, 1 rank only deputy commissioners from 4 to 6, it defies logic. It defies logic, and one cannot expect them to give any proper explanation, because that is the way they operate. They're not accountable. So you do this, and you will never want to offer any proper explanation. Something they said, a thing they say about improving efficiency. How can that in itself and by itself improve the efficiency of the organization? Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then, but before we bring in CC, he alluded to the fact that the deception in the force continues. The deception, because the police corporate communication unit, and I guess the mainstream media, even social media, they too are propagating this nonsense about acting deputy commissioner. I wrote a letter which appeared sometime last week in the media. There's no acting deputy commissioner. There's no substantive deputy commissioner. The last deputy commissioner in the force was Paul Williams. He retired early this year. The Constitution, again, the same 211 makes it clear that in order for someone to act in the rank of deputy commissioner and to be substantive in those ranks, it has to go through that constitutional process. In the absence of that, nobody is acting. You cannot be acting. And the giveaway is that even though they said they're acting, Brutus, they said they're acting, Budram said they're acting, now they say what's acting, they're still wearing assistant commissioner badge rank. And I pointed that out in the letter that I wrote, that whilst the Commissioner acting Clifton Akin, the extended squatter, is wearing the badge of rank of the Commissioner of Police, and rightly so, because he was made to act under controversial circumstances, but he's acting. He's acting. So therefore, he wears the badge of rank of Commissioner of Police. But the others who are not, who are claiming that they're acting, they're still wearing the rank of Assistant Commissioner. If you're acting, wear Deputy Commissioner badge of rank. If you say you're acting Deputy Commissioner, but it's part of the deception. And we're not picking on this thing, we're not just finding fault. We're saying that if the organization, if the people in the organization are to be credible, all of these are things they must take into consideration. You can't be telling people that you are acting when in fact it is not so. And I noted too in some of the releases recently from the public propaganda unit, the police corporate communication or propaganda unit, the commissioner acting is no longer acting because they refer to him now as commissioner, no longer acting. These things are important. And this is not nitpicking or finding fault. These things are important. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we're going to move on. Cece, your views on this matter. For
Yeah,
anything you want to see.
I remember when Brutus took this service commission to court, and part of his pleadings, he said that a confidential source in the Police Service Commission leaked the list of ranks who were shortlisted to be promoted. Paul, you say Carmen is a bitch. Now we have the senior promotion board members met, and apparently somebody leaked the list of persons recommended, persons, names of persons, the list that is sent to a house in Rob Street, to shift Chandrapal Drive, and to a building northwest of Breakdown Police Station. They list their wild west about the place, and they say it's confidential. Of all those persons who were, maybe another day we go into it, who were recommended for promotion. And the thing is, in our time, no list can go to Home Affairs, no list can go to Freedom House, no list can go to the Office of the President. The list had to come in our time straight to the Police Service Commission, because the Police Service Commission is responsible for promotion, inspector to assistant commissioner. There it is. The list gone. I think it's a couple of weeks ago they met and the list gone. And when you look at the list, Dr. Peter Principal, they're promoting, they're recommending people, they're going to promote a lot of incompetence, nepotism, favorites going up. A lot of incompetence. They wake up, they resurrected Dr. Peter and utilize his principles. And don't talk about supersessions. Supersessions, the order of the day with no justification. Part of what they say, these persons will be superseded. A big long list of no justification. In our time, if you say Conway can be promoted, you got to justify it. But no, if you see the list and the list is all about the place, just know you're going to hit the press. Just know somebody going to publish it in the newspaper because it's perhaps a confidential source leak it, and it's about the place Wild West. The list of persons recommended for promotion, and the list ain't reached the Police Service Commission yet. They already gone to Freedom House, and they gone to Home Affairs, and they gone to Office of the President, and them got to decide. Unlike what is the legal thing, that in terms of promotion to those ranks, it is the Police Service Commission and nobody else.
Now let me say this. I agree with you fully. Well, let me say this. You reference that leaked list in 2020, which caused legal action to be brought against the commission by Calvin Brutus. He was joined by Prem Narain, Shawan Jupiter, Shiv Prasad Bacchus, Ravindranath Stanley. They all joined to challenge a promotion that was not made. So the precedent is set. Now that this list is circulating, I would think that all of the ranks whose names who are to be superseded, maybe they would want to go to the court too and challenge the thing. I don't know. But the president was set. Brutus challenged the promotion, a shortlist. And this is even further than a shortlist. This is not a shortlist. This is the recommended list. So maybe some of those ranks will find some stones who are being overlooked, superseded without any explanation, justification. Might want to challenge it, because remember now, having a pending disciplinary matter is not a bar to promotion, because when the last senior promotions were made in 2022, 2nd of July, many of the persons who were promoted had pending disciplinary matters before the Police Service Commission and other bodies. So therefore, I'm saying to you that if you feel you are being superseded unnecessarily so without any justification, you might want to talk to your lawyer. You might want to call the precedent has been set. And again, I say, based on that last promotion, having a pending disciplinary matter is not a bar to being promoted. It's them set the thing, it's not me. Them set it. They are the ones who set it. They even said recently, I say, the talk about promotion examinations, some part promotion examination is no longer one of the things to take into consideration. So let's see where that will go. But that is all leading to the breaking down of the organization. All of that leading to the fall, the decline, the rapid decline of the police force. Yesterday when I posted the notification for the program today, I mentioned that we will talk about the continued saga with this money laundering allegation and all of that. And maybe we're gonna go into it now. We're gonna go into it, and let me make this point. This is not gonna go away easily. This is not going any place easily. And for those of you who don't know, by now everybody know what the allegation is. The allegation is that an assistant commissioner senior rank attempted to launder $16.5 million through the police credit union. The money was initially accepted, and when the person in charge discovered that they returned the $16.5 million in two black paper bags, that was returned to the officer in question. Brutus, I can call the name because that is the allegation. Now, it was returned to him. And the ranks, well, the information is too, that very shortly thereafter, and this is the allegation, mind you, that very shortly thereafter, the acting commissioner called the persons involved, that's the people from the credit union, berated them, and then they were transferred. They were removed from the credit union. That is what is going out there. In terms of the removal, that is true. I know that the people were removed. I know the people who were removed from that position for doing their job. They were victimized for doing their jobs. They were victimized for doing the job. And what happened? They denied. Let me play this video again to remind you. And this is the acting commissioner, sometime before the last, when he was confronted at the Marriott about this attempt to launder, if you want to call it launder, attempt to deposit $16.5 million in the police credit union, and the rumor that an investigation had been launched. Here, the response to this.
Guyana's acting commissioner of police Clifton Hicken today laid to rest claims that his deputy commissioner of police acting Calvin Brutus is on the investigation by the Special Organized Crime Unit. Hicken spoke with reporters on the sidelines of the first legal conference on criminal justice reform at the Marriott Hotel in Georgetown.
It's about Mr. Brutus and the multi-million dollar deposits. Is it true or not?
No, it's not true. And I made a release already through our system.
We didn't see that.
Yeah, I made a release. It's in the system. There's no investigation going on whatsoever.
And no deposits.
Nothing whatsoever. You know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Brutus, who served as the force admin officer, was transferred to Special Branch, while Deputy Commissioner Provincial Dat Budram is now in charge of administration, while the head of the Special Branch, Assistant Commissioner Errol Watts, is now in charge of operations. In a statement from the police, it said that the move is part of the modernization plan for the Guyana Police Force.
Now, you already there yourself. Again, let me recap. Allegation that this morning, $16.5 million. The receipt was shown. Let me see if I get the receipt here. The thing was shown to people. This receipt, one moment. Look at it here. This is what was circulated as the receipt. The receipt says Calvin Brutus, $16.5 million, $15 million as 1.5 as interest, and it's there with the signature. For those of you who know the signature, you see the signature there is Brutus. That is what it is said. And then you have here the source of the income. They say wedding gifts prior, during, and after reception. And it has the address, 28 Arselton New Scheme, East Coast, Demerara. And the ID number and telephone number, they are blanked out. But the ID number is there. So it is shocking that the commissioner acting would deny this. That is thing. And let me read this here. Let me read this part before I bring in Mr. Conway, because as they said, an investigation was launched, despite the fact that the commissioner said, acting commissioner said on tape, it's not artificial intelligence, it's he telling people that no such deposit was made, that no investigation is launched. And then the very next day, Brutus is said to have requested to go on leave to facilitate an investigation. So you're suggesting to me that this whole thing about the investigation occurred between the Wednesday when the statement was made by the acting commissioner the following day? No, that is not so. The thing, well, I don't know if the investigation had been launched, but months ago, documents surfaced about this deposit of $16.5 million in two black scandal bag, two black paper bag, cash, Guyana currency. That is what it was. And then it's saying that that Soku is going to investigate this matter. I made a post on social media, which I stand by. I said that Soku does not have the capacity to investigate such a matter. Soku is headed by an assistant commissioner, Karim Bash. I said CID, another investigative arm of the force, is headed by another assistant commissioner, Blanham. And this allegation is made against an assistant commissioner, Brutus, one of their colleagues. And based on what we just saw, or what I just said about the acting commissioner's involvement, to deny this investigation, to deny that a deposit was made. And if it is true that he did call these ranks who refused to bow to this illegal activity, if it is true, then he too is should be a target of this investigation. And based on that, he should demit office immediately. Let me repeat that. And perhaps today is a good day for him to demit, because today is his board day. He long past retirement, but let me understand this thing clearly, and this is not getting personal. Some of y'all like to, and not you, some of the people, they like to gloss over the facts. What are the facts? I'm putting this in. What are the allegations? The allegation is that Calvin Brutus, assistant commissioner who was at admin in December last year, he actually deposited $16.5 million cash, Guyana currency. The money then, when the people in charge realized that they can't accept the money was returned to him. There is a receipt of this transaction. The allegation further states that shortly thereafter, the acting commissioner had a meeting with these ranks in his office or somewhere at police headquarters and berated them. He bucked them up. And then they were transferred from that location. If that is so, then the commissioner acting is complicit. And if Brutus is sent on leave to facilitate an investigation, or if he requests leave to facilitate an investigation into this allegation of money laundering and other financial irregularities, then Aiken should go as well. And there's a letter. Let me try to let me find it that I will read to you. I have it here, and this is nightly news. Newly elected leader of the Alliance for Change, Nigel Hughes, recently called for an independent external probe into allegations of financial impropriety against Assistant Police Commissioner Calvin Brutus. The guy, and I quote him here saying, the Guyana police force cannot be expected to investigate itself, particularly at the level of allegation of criminal activity against high-ranking members, end of quote. Quote again, the powers vested in the commissioner who can influence the conduct of any police investigation into his deputy, coupled with his clear attempt to provide cover for his deputy, necessitates his removal from office during the course of the investigation. End the quote. Hughes also suggested that Clifton Aiken, having passed the retirement age, should consider retiring. Hughes suggested that, quote, we could invite somebody from Barbados or Jamaica to come and conduct that investigation, end of quote. However, Vice President Barra Jagdeo, perhaps unaware of the very close friendship shared between the head of the Special Organized Crime Unit, Fazil Karimbash, and Calvin Brutus, is positive that there will be no pressure to alter the outcome of the investigation. And the quote, Jagdeo was saying, there will be no cover-up. The president himself is looking into this investigation. End of quote. The VP who doesn't see a potential conflict of interest in the investigation said, quote, we must not, for the purpose of politics or for ratings or to get a good newspaper article, vilify people in the police force, end of quote. And embattled Brutus has since been sent on leave. That is what the thing says. I fully agree and support the statement by Mr. Hughes, who is now leader for the Alliance for Change, that the police cannot be expected to conduct a proper investigation at that high level. Let's understand it clearly. As I said before, this is an allegation against Assistant Commissioner Brutus. The two leading arms in the force, SOCU, the Special Organized Crime Unit, is headed by Assistant Commissioner Fazil Karimbash. The other unit, CID, Criminal Investigations Department, is headed by another Assistant Commissioner, Wendell Blanham. They cannot be expected to conduct an impartial inquiry. And now we hear about a close relationship between the head of SOCU and the person who is the main target. And I say further that if the allegation is true, that following the revelation of this deposit of $16.5 million, the acting commissioner called these people together, called these people at the credit union, berated and had them transferred. Then he's complicit, and he too should be sent on leave to facilitate a proper investigation. And as I said, how can you expect the people in the force, SOCU head and CID head, to go and question them or interrogate them? I made the point in the Facebook post that in any investigation, one would expect questions, interrogations, and I cannot see anybody in the force properly interrogating the person who are accused to be involved in this illegal activity. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we're gonna go on. I'm gonna move on again. What say you about the investigation into this matter?
This investigation mustn't go away. It must be on the front burner all the time. But for me, Paul, it gotta be broadened, deepened. It's not only about the police credit union. There are other serious financial irregularities and other issues. And we should seek outside help. The FBI, the British, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and they must have special terms of reference. What they really required to investigate. It is not only credit union. It's about illegal arrangements with the police consumers co-op. It's about It's about fraud that took place, with the what's going on with the supplying of stuff to the police method breakdown. Who supplying stuff to the police method Eve Larry? And I hear recently who supplying stuff or what's going on with the SCs in Cemetery Road and the feeding of SCs at the Cherry Dragon International Airport. We heard the minister mention about fraud at the police finance office. We hear nothing more about that. We hear the minister talk about fraud at the police consumers at the police quartermaster stores. So this thing has got to be broadened and deepened. And not only that too, Paul. They talk about the ranks in interior. Region 1 get the gold medal. Where ranks got to put up bogus accounts. They go on duty and they got put up bogus accounts where they say bogus accounts for the welfare fund. If they get 3 accounts, they got to make out that 4th one and they ain't get the payment for the 4th one, but the money being drawn. That this thing is serious financial allegation. And then again, we have the guns that disappear. The guns that disappear from the police at police headquarters. And I hear one the other day from the guns that disappear from Alberton police station. I understand the allegations are that they call him owner and give a letter permission to buy a new gun. And he said, well, is police make my gun disappear? And I say, if you want the police to pay back for it, you got to carry the police to court. And because the guy wants proper security, I think he purchased his own gun. And only though, they got to investigate the issuing of firearms license. We have about the starting point of $1.5 million dollars. I talk about Chief Chanjapal Drive. I talk about Young Street. And this one is one of the big ones. We're a doctor in Lamar Street. Freedom House. Ministry of Home Affairs. Things happening, 1.5 million is the starting point, and a lot of recommendations and gain to the firearm board. Things happening, the allegations, things happening at police headquarters that nothing now got to the firearm board. Your 1.5 is the starting point, depends on the caliber, and it's happening regularly. Getting back to the guns that disappear, we have a lot of killings going on and that kind of thing. Some of them guns, I don't know. But or they call people and give them letter, your gun missing, you could buy back another one. And instead of the police paying, the people gotta pay. So the investigation, it's gotta be a total, a comprehensive investigation into what's going on apart from financial. There are other issues, some of which I highlighted, and there are many more. If you know what's going on with the messing arrangement at the Cherry Dragon International Airport, and if you know what's going on with people who are not attached to the Cherry Dragon International Airport, but they draw an allowance, like if they're working there, and we're talking about senior people, and then they should look into where that business place in Georgetown. I won't call it where the SCs are working there in Crow Street. The SCs are working there, and the money ain't getting through the finance office. It ain't getting through the finance office, and the business owner residents they work into. Some up there with three SCs working there, and the money ain't getting through the finance office. Those are the allegations. So this thing needs a real comprehensive investigation, not only the police credit union, but other investigation. The thing is terrible and it's widespread. and it calls for outside investigation. I say it and I'm going to repeat it often, that Suku doesn't have the ability to prosecute nobody. Yes, they with breakneck speed, they run to Rabbit Walk and Seawall and get get approval, charge, advice, proceed and charge. But all the matters ending at no case submission. It's only one pass, no case submission is when Nandalal the charge with thief in law books. And he jumped to the court when the magistrate overruled no case submission. And lo and behold, government change and then all pros. And it's the same Rabbit Walk and Seawall that advise him for charge, and then later on, without any fresh evidence, they're not person. So I'm saying that it's not but the allegations about Brutus alone and the credit union, but there are plenty other allegations. Who's supplying the mess? Who's supplying the quartermaster store? And all those things there that we need to properly investigate, broaden it, deepen the investigation. But now it's Suku.
Good question. Who's supplying these items? And there's a big conflict of interest. And I'm gonna read something a little later. But for now, when you ask, look at the supplies. Look at the supplies, folks. Look out. Look at the supplies. Look, where it is. Look at this. You saw that stockpile there. You're asking who supplied. The allegation is that these items are supplied by, and I wrote something on social media, about conflict of interest. You have the man, in case you all know, in the police force, the person in charge of admin is the person who deals with accounts and all of these things. So any payment also approved by him goes to the Ministry of Home Affairs. The PS is the accounting officer, Ministry of Home Affairs. Some years ago, it used to be the PS is the accounting officer for capital, and the police finance officer used to be the accounting officer for current expenditure. They changed that. So the PS of Affairs is the accounting officer for both capital and current. That is my understanding. Now, the conflict that I referenced in the post is that the man in charge of admin, Brutus, call his name, he has a company. He has a company. Let me tell you what the name of the company. So when I go say I can sue and so on, I'm thinking I had a slide somewhere. Maybe the company, the name of the company is what? I can't remember the name now. And in printing this thing, the name is not there. But it talks about the company is to supply stuff. Companies supply stuff. And it is registered in the name of one Calvin Brutus of Lot 28 Arlington, East Coast, Demerara, Guyana. And it was registered, I think, on the 28th day of June, 2023. The allegation is that he supplies. There's another application for a company, AAA Depot, General Store, Grocery, Pharmaceuticals, and Hardware. It's a sole proprietor. It is registered. The applicant name is an application. Adonica Alicia Alder is the owner, and it is said that this lady is the wife of Brutus. And it is alleged that they supply stuff. Brutus signs these things. As the owner of the company, it is alleged that he makes requisition for items. The items are supplied to the police. He signs the accounts and approves the payment for himself or his company. All of these things have to be investigated. All of these. So it's not just this $16.5 million. There is allegation of massive fraud and corruption. They say that the Police Central Welfare Fund, the Benevolent Fund, the Fine Fund, the Loaner Driver Program Fund, these are funds that used to have millions and millions of dollars. In the case of the Loaner Driver Fund, they said it used to have hundreds of millions of dollars. And those funds, the allegation is, have been decimated. These things should be investigated. These things should be investigated, and not by any unit in the Guyana Police Force, because they themselves might be complicit, because you're hearing things. You're hearing things about the relationship with them and the fact that some of them too might have run-ins. That is what is being said. And therefore, if you want to have a credible investigation, you have to have people with credibility. I don't tell you about RSS, and Mr. Hughes mentioned Jamaica and someplace else. I don't have much confidence in them, because remember the RSS came here following the allegation into the paper shards murder, where Sergeant Bacchus alleged that the head of the major crime unit, Caesar, took $30 million from Azruddin Mohammed to cover up the paper shards murder. That was the allegation still floating around. And then the government calling the RSS, that's the regional security system. And they came, they said that they reviewed the reports, and they pronounced that the police force was capable of solving this matter, this paper shards murder. Up to now, they didn't solve it. But the strange thing about that, they came because of the allegation made by the sergeant, the whistleblower, and they never questioned him. They never questioned the person who was making the allegation. So on what basis did they decide that this investigation was being properly conducted? So I don't have any confidence in them. I have no confidence in them whatsoever. And then you hear allegation now coming over the weekend. Let me give you all the thing again, man. All these are allegations, mind you. And unlike what the president and these people like to say about evidence, I know that when allegations are made, you have to do the investigation to find the evidence. You can't sit back and say, well, there is no evidence. How are you going to get the evidence if you don't do the investigation? The investigation has to be done based on allegations. That is how I know it. An allegation is made, an investigation is done with the intention of unearthing evidence, either to prove or to disprove the allegation. But no, we have people who are saying here, oh, it's just allegation, there is no evidence. How the devil are you going to get the evidence if you don't do the allegation? And then, again, what is being said here over the weekend here now, more irrefutable evidence has surfaced implicating two senior officers of the Guyana Police Force in serious cases of public corruption and financial impropriety. Nightly News has been reliably informed that more than $800 million was laundered through the quartermaster stores of the Guyana Police Force, allowances for rank station in the interior, the credit union, and the Consumers Co-op Society. Investigators know that even though the Police Consumers Cooperative Society provides food and other items to members of the force on credit, that arrangement was ordered stopped. In fact, the relative of a senior officer is now the main supplier of the Police Consumers Cooperative Society. In one instance, over 100 million Guyana dollar cash was found concealed in black plastic bags in one of the officer's office. The officer reportedly told investigators that it's hard-earned money. Information also surfaced that two senior officers had planned to build a multi-million-dollar supermarket and hotel in Region 9. That plan is still reportedly ongoing. Folks, let me say this again. I know they listen. They listen perhaps for the wrong reason. They are not concerned much with the message. They look to see who are the messengers. But listen to the message. Allegations are there about massive, massive corruption. I saw something floating around that one of the senior officers, 3 bank accounts, over $400 million. 3 bank accounts in the name of one officer, over $400 million. The wife of another senior officer is said to have a bank account. She don't work any place, over 100 million Guyana dollars. And this thing is saying, this last report that I read, over $100 million in cash stashed away in this office. You tell me Soku can do a credible investigation? And let me say this. Let me be fair to Soku and all them. I like to be fair. Even if Soku were to do the most diligent of investigation, let me understand this clearly. People are going to believe that it was not properly done. It's a cover-up because of the closeness and because of the professional relationship between these people, the people in charge of these units. You can't get away from that. They're all assistant commissioners. And even if they were worse enemies, and you're doing an investigation to uncover the facts, to bury them, you're going to have people who are skeptical. People are going to say, nah, them is colleagues, and therefore this is not proper. That is the nature of the beast. So that is why I say that if you want to have a credible investigation, you have to have people who are not associated with the force. You have to have people who are not associated with the Guyana Police Force. And I'm not talking about RASS or RSS. That is the reality. And let me tell you, before I begin, Mr. Conway, let me give you this one. This allegation made about all of this deposit of $16.5 million and other allegations. I saw a letter, a lawyer's letter, mind you, from one Rexford Jackson attorney at law, Ryan Doris attorney at law. I'm reading it. And the letter is addressed to Mr. Travis Chase, HGP TV Nightly News, 1 Republic Drive, Triumph, East Coast, Demerara. Well, let me tell them they're just wrong. Republic Drive under a Triumph. And the caption of the letter is defamatory conduct. And it says, it's a lie, and I'll read it to you. These people, that is not a real place. Hear what the letter says. Dear sir, the caption refers, I have been consulted and retained by Mr. Calvin Brutus, attorney at law and assistant commissioner of the Guyana Police Force. I'm instructed that on Thursday, July 11, 2024, you made the following statements on your nightly newscast. Quote, HGP Nightly News. A high-ranking police officer has deposited tens of millions of dollars into the Guyana Police Force Credit Union account, and Clifton Ikin, who is performing the functions of the police commissioner, has denied the transaction ever happened. Nightly News has records to prove that the assistant police commissioner deposited the money and it was later returned to him. The official credit union documents below show that $16.5 million was allegedly deposited into the Co-op's credit union account on December the 15th, 2023. Documents also show that the source of fund was stated as wedding gifts prior to and after receipt. Records also show that on December 16, 2023, the transaction was canceled. Cash payment transaction was canceled, and money in the sum of $16.5 million returned to the member on the 16th of December 2023. However, the original receipt was not returned to the police credit union. Then there is end of quote. There is no evidential basis for the statement, the content of which are not only libelous, but also clearly imputes that my client has engaged in illicit activities and is wholly unfit to hold public office. Consequently, my client's reputation has been severely injured. Hold on, the thing got away from me. Hold on, let me find it back. My client's reputation has been severely injured. He has been subjected to public odium, ridicule, and embarrassment. In the circumstances, I am instructed to demand that you issue an apology, retract the publication, and immediately cease and desist from repeating the same or similar statements in this regard. I am instructed to institute legal proceedings against you for damages without any further notice if you fail to accede to my client's request within 1 day of the receipt of this correspondence. Be guided accordingly. Signed, Rexford Jackson, attorney at law. These people are real, you know. If I were an advisor to Mr. Chase, and I am not, I would tell him, talk to your lawyer, Maybe the same liar who responded on behalf of Enrico Wilford and tell them, shove it. Let me repeat that. If I were an advisor to Mr. Chase, and I am not, I would consult with my lawyer, perhaps the same one who responded on behalf of Enrico Wilford, lawyer that today wrote Enrico Wilford for him to apologize and retract and offer monetary compensation because he claimed that the minister was met, escorted off a plane from JFK. He said it was defamatory and they want. And the man wrote a letter. I have it somewhere there. A beautiful, beautiful letter. UC Anderson wrote. So perhaps Travis might want to get UC Anderson to do that. But you underestimate the audacity of these people. The man is basically saying now that this thing with his signature for this $60.5 million is not he, it's Shaggy. It's not he. He never did that. And therefore, my question to the goodly gentleman, and I'm using the term here very loosely, my question is, if this thing is not so, that you never attempted to or deposited $16.5 million, which was returned to you, why did you ask to go on leave? To facilitate what investigation? Why are you on leave? As they claim that you're on leave to facilitate an investigation. What is being investigated? So, Travis, see your liar. I like your liar. If I were to respond, I can respond in a rum shop because it requires rum shop language. But your liar has the facility of the language based on what I saw, previous letters, and the one I saw that he wrote on behalf of Enrico Wilford, and respond to this liar, Jackson and Brutus, and tell them to shove it. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. You see,
Yeah.
your letter that I read just now, your comments and all that I have said, man.
Well, it's an attempt really to shut down Travis Chase, and only that, and maybe to send a threatening note to those persons who would be potential witnesses, shut them down. Well, hey, if you only talk certain things, we're going to send a letter and we're going to sue you. But the point is, if you are innocent, let the investigation continue. Let the investigation go on. Yeah? You don't have to send lies letter to people and all that kind of thing. Let the investigation go. Yeah? And then why you ask to proceed and leave. And then for me, if you get this matter pending, you can get an annualized leave too. Well, I know what leave it upon as the case may be. But it's an attempt to really shut down people. And I think Travis is far wiser than that. And I'm sure Travis is going to seek legal advice and move on with it. Let the investigation go on, man. Let it go on.
Well, if we know that the investigation is going to come out to no credible result, let it go on. And one of the things that amused me with the statement that I read, the last statement where the vice president said, that I'm trying to find it, where the vice president said that he has every confidence in Soku. Here it is. He said the vice president who doesn't see a potential conflict of interest in the investigation said that we must not, for the purpose of political and for ratings or to get a good newspaper article, vilify persons in the police force. He said that there will be no cover-up. The president himself is looking into this investigation. Even the vice president, Bharat Jagdeo, is saying that the president himself is looking into the investigation. I mean, these people say something, perhaps they don't even realize what they're saying. We have been talking about political involvement. What involvement or what the president looking into the investigation? That is what is going on. What form is looking in to the investigation taking? President get involvement in a police investigation? That is what the vice president is saying publicly. They talk and they put their feet in their mouth all the time. He also says that perhaps unaware of the very close friendship shared between the head of the Soku and Brutus, he is positive that there will be no pressure to alter the outcome of the investigation. If you're so confident that Soku is such a professional organization, why did you not invite them, or why did the government not invite them to investigate the Sugate allegation? Sue made an allegation on Vice News that the vice president collects 500,000 US dollars from Chinese businessmen to give them contract. That is allegation made over a year or two ago. No investigation, and you're telling people now you have every confidence in Soku doing a proper professional investigation. So why did they not do an investigation into that most serious of allegations? As I said, the court to the president, the vice president said that there will be no cover-up. The president himself is looking into this investigation. My Lord. Let us talk more, man. When the talk, everything has been revealed. We have been talking about political involvement in the police force, and this again is a statement that tells you that there is political involvement in the police force. The vice president is saying that the president is looking into the investigation. I don't know that the president can look into any investigation. If an allegation is made, if the organization is independent, they will do the investigation. Maybe at some stage they will report on their findings to the president, but to say that the president is looking into the investigation, it leaves a lot to interpretation. It leaves a lot to interpretation. And let me move on with this last thing. We're running out of time rapidly. I don't know if Mr. Conway wants to say anything more on that. Do you, CC?
Just to confirm what you're saying, looking into, as far as they concern me, investigating. I guess the president has ordered an investigation, full stop. And I'm done with it. What you looking into? Huh?
Yeah, you're looking into. Hope you see what you're looking for. Now, let me close off with this one. I'll take a little time with the next 25 minutes or so. This is the police symposium that they had last week, Wednesday, I think it was. The article says in Kaicho News, the top cop calls for constructive criticism to foster growth in the police force. And let me read some excerpts. It can said, the same critical look or the same critical analysis you are doing for the police force. Please praise us when we are making efforts to develop capacity. Praise us when we are doing good. And praise us for maintaining peaceful communities. And praise us because incrementally we are doing well in terms of our crime statistics. Then he said, tools will always be our problem in terms of quantity, but we are maximizing what we have. And of course, we should be given kudos for that. The man asking for kudos. The man asking for kudos. And let me say this. Again, I tell you how I like being fair. There can be no doubt that some ranks in the force are doing good work, some ranks. And for people who criticize all the time, I just want to remind you that recently you had a situation where a sergeant at West Demerara was alleged to be the mastermind in the housebreaking ring. Right? Is who arrested? Police arrested. Police. On the East Bank, not so long ago, a policeman found transporting marijuana. He was remanded sometime last week. Police arrested him. Two GDF senior NCOs found transporting marijuana over sometime last week, arrested by police. So I use those examples to tell you that policemen are out there who are committed to doing the correct thing. Don't let me get away from that. They are rotten eggs, rotten apples, rotten ranks in the force. And based on recent allegations from senior right down, they are rotten ones. But they are good ones too. But the bad that is being done, they are so numerous and so frequent that they overshadow the good that is being done. Because when they talk about ranks, the police rank arrested, and soldiers being arrested, and policemen being arrested, they don't emphasize the fact that it's police arresting them. It's policemen arresting these other policemen who are alleged to be involved in corrupt activities, and soldiers in this one case. So they have good ranks. But the bad things that they do, or the few, or whatever you say, overshadow, and no sooner than the acting commissioner made this clear, the symposium last Wednesday, Minister Ben had to speak and hear what Minister Ben is alleged to have said. or is reported to have said, I shouldn't say alleged, is reported to have said. At the set symposium, Minister of Home Affairs Ropesman called out the Guyana Police Force over questionable accounting practices. Let me read that back. At the same symposium, Minister of Home Affairs Ropesman called out the police for questionable accounting practices, bribery and corruption, and vowed to conduct audits and investigations into alleged malpractices. Let me pause to say when I read the Minister of Home Affairs saying these things, I remember one Rip Van Winkle. For those of you who know Rip Van Winkle, he woke up. He suddenly awoken. And he now discovered that they have, what he said? The questionable accounting practices, bribery and corruption, and vowed to conduct audits, investigations into the alleged malpractices. And he is quoted there saying, the core issue is that at the level of the quality of policing, end the quote, the minister stated during his address, not quantity, quote, not quantity in terms of how many police are out there, but the quality of policing, end of quote. Ben acknowledged the diversity of the Guyana Police Force training, which has included input from the UK, Canada, India, and China. And then he's quoted there saying, the question is the quality of our policemen and women, end of quote. According to the Home Affairs Minister, the most pressing issue is concerning procurement practices and financial accounting within the Guyana Police Force. The minister is saying the most pressing issue is concerning procurement practices and financial accounting within the Guyana Police Force. He said despite the government's effort to address these problems, they have not received the necessary cooperation or response from the Guyana Police Force leadership. The minister revealed that he has made numerous requests to the police leadership to address these issues, but has been met with delays, undermining, and disregard for the things we want you to do. Quote, there is a significant problem, end of quote, Minister Ben declared, vowing to launch reviews, investigations, and audits into the Guyana Police Force procurement processes and financial practices. He further added, quote, if money goes to places it should not go, it means there is massive collusion and corruption. We want new accountable policing. We want new and improved and honest work done. We want to see that the paper trail is not fraudulent because we hear a lot of issues. And I know there's a lot of turning back of invoices where you cannot verify what said or what was said to have occurred. End of quote. Addressing the issue of bribery within the police force, the minister stated that if a policeman on the road decides to do right or left and people left money, it's a discredit to him and the force in the public. Additionally, Minister Ben revealed that he has been making sudden unannounced visits to police stations and fire stations, only to find that standards of cleanliness and order often leave much to be desired. Quote, the police stations must be the most welcoming place in the community, end of quote. Quote again, the standards and things we want for ourselves at a personal level are those we should accord to the people that pay taxes, end of quote. The minister's criticism extended to the conduct of police officers, calling for an end to disrespectful behavior and the extortion of citizens, as he has received endless complaints. Quote, I want the disrespect to people to stop at police stations. Police must speak properly and politely. Police, the station sergeant, and others must make sure that the facilities are clean and well kept and that they are functioning. Police must help people. Police must not extort people, Minister Ben asserted. The minister also took aim at police commanders who allegedly flaunt their wealth. Minister Ben remarked, and the police commanders and others who find themselves in authority must not think that arriving at the job that they need to award and reward themselves and to walk around with plenty gold and diamond around their necks and their fingers. If they have that, it means that they are men who can be bought. I can buy you because that is what you like, and you flaunt it. It must stop. It must stop. End of quote. The minister emphasized that the government is committed to rooting out corruption within the Guyana police force and restoring public trust in the nation's law enforcement agency. Before I bring in Mr. Conway, let's play a short clip, and then I'm going to bring you in. Listen to this.
Police commanders and others who find themselves in authority must not think that arriving at the job, that they need to award and reward themselves and to walk around with plenty gold and diamonds around the neck and the fingers. If they have that, it means they are men who could be bought. I can buy you because that's what you like, and you flaunt it. It must stop. It must stop.
It must stop. It must stop. Let me bring in Mr. Conway to make his comment. CC, what say you about this symposium, the remarks by the commissioner, the response by the minister? What do you think?
All right, let me start with the extended squatter. I think you're getting some difficulty putting some simple sentence together to make sense. We did statement analysis, and let me read extract of his statement. Say you saying criticism is necessary for a developing organization like the Guyana Police Force in terms of creating an evolution and creating an evolution to be compatible to what is going on in the global sphere. Let me read it. Criticism as necessary for a developing organization like the Guyana Police Force in terms of creating an evolution to be compatible to what is going on in the global sphere. What really is this man saying? I don't know. I don't know what I mean. But he's in the habit of just talking things widely that doesn't make any sense at all. I agree that criticism is important. I was reading a book recently, Power and Corruption in the NYPD. The same NYPD that are trying to hold a good alliance with. Power and Corruption in the NYPD. And it say any organization that does not respond, no, they say the performance of any organization that does not respond to well-founded criticism will be prosaic, will be dull, will be unimaginative. And that's what happened in the police force. Because they're not responding to well-founded criticism, and you criticize them, they're attacking you, the messenger, they're not looking at the message. And therefore, well, I see you attempting to talk about criticism, but, it doesn't make any sense at all. But let's go on to the minister and talk about they walk around with plenty gold and diamond around their neck and their fingers. If they have that, it means that they are men who can be bought. I can buy you because that is what you like, and you flaunt it. It must stop. It must stop. You're talking about policemen walking around with gold around the neck and diamond. This can go along to other members of the ministry, including Ministry of Affairs. This could relate to a minister, a government minister, with wearing fancy handbag value over a couple thousand US. Maybe she could be bought. But nothing wrong. I don't see nothing wrong with policemen walking around there if they have their gold chain and the gold ring with their hard-earned cash, and wear. Nothing is wrong with that. And here what is police standing order says. Standing order number 12, section 48. Members of the force, when dressed in uniform, will not wear will not wear ornaments, including chains, bangles, metal and earrings on their person. They're saying when in uniform, you will not wear ornaments, including chains, bangles, earrings on their person. Clear. But now we see the last parade that we had with the policemen, we see them wearing red socks. We see them wearing red gloves. We see the band in a pure white. And we see senior police officer wearing emblem, one guy in an emblem. So the thing is that, you should talk about those things also, where, or you should read this police standing order number 12, which talk about appearance and conduct. We talk about appearance and conduct, and perhaps the minister, as you say, like Rip Van Winkle, after 20 years, Rip woke up, and ministers now woke up, and the minister is the head of the Ghana police force. He responsible for policies, and the things that he's saying that he has failed as a minister and he has failed miserable. He talking to the police and I listen to it. He talking to the police, they're delaying information, they're doing their own thing, and police not listening to the minister. And he comfortable that. He's like what we used to talk about, Paul, the gold, silver, and bronze commando. The minister is responsible for policy. The commissioner is responsible for operation. And here's it, the minister talking, but they say, we have abandoned the dog walking through Stabrook Market area. If you don't look like me, here it is, if you don't look like me, you could be robbed, assaulted, or even killed in the area around Stabrook Market, the general assessment. If you don't look like me, I wonder we looking. I wonder if he talking about how he was looking when he was on a parade in his country clothes. So the minister is admitting that he's a failure, that the police not listen to him, they're not hearing. He responsible for policies and they're not carry the policy. But it's not surprising because he, as a minister, his PS apparently did a whole sort of thing that the British, the American cited her for corruption and another serious offense and took away her visa. So the minister is a failure, and I think it's time that he take a bow. It's time that he come out, he walk away from the ministry. Here's it. He is in command. He is in charge of policies. The police commissioner is in charge of operation, and he admitting failure that the police in doing anything. He talking about Stabrook Market, and there's a lot of posts right under the nose of the police of the Stabrook Market, and the Ministry of Affairs and they're too far from there. So what really is the minister saying? All he doing is admitting that he's a failure. He admitting that he's a complete failure, and he should make a bow and go along his way.
Should go your way. Should talk about. Well, it's interesting. We spoke about this on this program some couple of weeks ago about the same issue about policing, and we made the point that any proper policing, including modern policing, requires people to walk the beat. You have to have people on foot patrols. But the president made a statement some time ago. Now it's going to be boots on the ground. Boots on the ground will be something of the past. That's what the president said. So maybe that is the orientation of the police. But we said repeatedly, and we are repeating again, that once you talk about proper policing in a place like Stabrook Market and those places, motor vehicle patrol is not going to do the job. You have to have dedicated men on foot, both in uniform and in civilian clothes, to patrol those areas. Somebody minister coming and talking about patrols and talking about if you look like E and all this type of nonsense. And then he talks about questionable accounting. I made the point, and let me remind you, students, that the accounting officer for the police force is the permanent secretary, Ministry of Affairs. So if there's questionable accounting in the police force, the Ministry of Home Affairs is also implicated. So I don't know what the minister is talking about here. Questionable accounting, invoices turning back, and all of that. He talks about the process of acquiring stuff. We have been saying that here, allegation that the same man, the man who owns the company, is the man who makes the requisition to the police. Is he approve it? Is he sign up the check to his own company in terms of the procurement of items? I show you, let me read something to you further. And let her go and check it out. Let her go and check it. Because when the people make the requisition, they're concerned about what is required. They just make a requisition to say 100 bags of this, 200 bags of that. Whether they are needed or not, you got to buy it from them and pay them. So here, what it tells here, I mentioned a story on social media, on Facebook in particular, that I said that in New York, when snow is expected, they just stockpile salt because they will salt the road, and that will have the effect of melting the snow quickly. But I understand they're stockpiling salt in the Guyana police force. And let me tell you some quantities that I understand. They talk here about almost 200 bags of salt. Listen to this. I know the size of the bag, but I'm going to show you, I know a little plastic bag. 200 bags of salt. Even Colgate toothpaste, almost 200 bales of toilet paper, 200 cases of condensed milk, over 200 cases of calves rib, over 200 cases of canned beef. Let me show you all this thing again, man. Let me show you. That is what's going on in the thing. These things are supplied. It is alleged to be supplied by people who are conflict. The man and the wife, they supply. The allegation is that these things are supplied and you got to pay. Can't question it. They supply it and you got to pay. So maybe that's what the minister is alluding to. But before we close, CC, immediately following the statement by the minister calling about Julie and so on, the president, newsroom said the president, a finale Tuesday night, expressed his support for officers and members of the Guyana Police Force and other disciplined forces wearing jewelry and engaged in other forms of self-expression, saying that ethics and professionalism are what should matter. The president remarks highlighted his commitment to balancing personal freedom with professional integrity in the nation's security forces. He said, I support, quoting the president, I support every Guyanese expressing himself, personally told the newsroom. Emphasizing the significant contribution of the Giant Services, he added, I have seen the tremendous work of members of the Giant Service that he goes on to sweet soap them. Now, let me say this. This statement by the president was made in response, that is my view, in response to this nonsense with the minister just started. Even other people on the sphere took the minister to task on the social media platform. The minister made a statement calling out the police force, for which he has ministerial responsibility, for corruption, bad practices, and so on. And immediately after that, president come out and basically say, you're talking nonsense. That is how I interpret it. That is my interpretation. That the president come out and say, Ben, you're talking nonsense. He never mentioned the name. But when you look at the time frame, statement made by the minister, president came out on newsroom to say self-expression and all that. If the minister had any decency, any sense of decency, that would have caused him to demit office. He would have tendered his resignation. Because there's the president lashing at it to say basically that what he's saying about wearing jewelry and all of this is nonsense, which indeed I think it is. Nonsense. But the president came out immediately after, called him out, and he remains there sitting. No wonder the police and them can ignore you because they have no respect for you. You have no respect for yourself. Because having said all the things that you said, you're indicting yourself. You have ministerial and political responsibility to the force. And you're telling the public, you're telling the police that you're requesting things from them and they're delaying. They're not. And what have you done? What have you done? Have you ever written to someone in the force and bring this to the commissioner's attention? And mind you, the commissioner has operational command of the force, and you have the command to deal with policies. And if it's a policy issue and they are not adhering to your guidelines, instructions, whatever you want to call it, you have the authority to write them. But I suspect it's not only policy issue, so you can't write. You cannot write. That is what it is. And as again, I say, if you had any dignity, you're going to pack up your traps and go. Because that, to me, I believe is an insult for that to have been said. Now, before I bring in Mr. Conway, let me bring in Mr. Conway first to give his closing, and then I'm going to come back and close. CC, your closing remarks, my brother.
All right. I do hope that they would broaden this investigation, not only to deal with, as I mentioned, the credit union, broaden it. We had instances, and we must all remember, where a secretary and a driver uplifted hundreds of thousands of dollars to run the investigation at Orange Juke, Kaikan, and Port Kaituma. Nothing about it. Nothing about it. And we had instances where it is alleged, man said, when you see me signature, don't worry nothing. You just carry on with it. And this one, I think we may talk about this later, where the second vice president boasted that they smashed a gold smuggling ring that was selling true gold through Suriname, and they recovered 39 million. And now that they declare, let me use the word, they declared 39 million Guyana dollars that they found in a hotel there, three Chinese. Imagine this is a gold smuggling ring that they smash, and they haven't recovered a penny, or like I say, haven't declared a penny weight of gold, a grain of gold, not even an ounce of gold, not even a US dollar, not even a Suriname dollar, and they smash this gold smuggling racket. What's really going on? And every day is a different issue. So I want to make the point that this thing in the investigation into the police force has got to be broadened, and it's got to be deeper. And Suku can't do it. It calls for international help, and that is the way we must go.
Right, thank you, my brother. We have so much to tell you. Well, let me tell you this. I posted something some time ago. This is a true story that was related to me. Let me leave this with you. You know, they say thief from thief make God laugh. The story is told that a female government official at a certain ministry collected a $1 million bribe and put it in a drawer. She collected the bribe, she starts it in the drawer. And she lapsed. She goes somewhere, she come back, the $100 million gone. No, 1 million rather, that's 100 million, 1 million. $1 million bribe she collect, put it in the drawer, go somewhere, maybe the washroom or somewhere, I'm not sure. When she come back sometime after she go in the money, gone. Thief from thief make God laugh. Thief from thief make God laugh. Folks, we have had a long morning, having had a pause for last week. We had no program. Again, I want to encourage all of you. I told you what I was doing last week, and reach out to me. You could always drop a note, your email, your telephone number. I will contact you, and we can arrange for me to impart some of this knowledge that I acquired, additional knowledge that I acquired over the week to you. And, again, quotations, they say, God don't sleep, he ain't get pajama. Karma is a bitch. Ingratitude is worse than witchcraft. All of those things. Somebody saying, yes, Magdalene, you can't put cat for watch milk. And I said so a long time ago. A long time. So it's good to know that the minister is now waking up to tell us about corruption in the police force and fancy accounting process and acquisition process not meeting required. We were saying that all along. Where was the minister? Again, they don't listen to the message because it was being said by Slow and Conway. They're asking for disregard. They're not looking, but coming back now to on them. When we made the thing back in 2020, that certain people cannot be promoted because of pending disciplinary matters. They were encouraged to go to court. They sue me. They sue me, but it can't stop me from from bringing the truth to you. I will continue to bring the truth. The only thing to stop me from speaking the truth is the grave. That's the only thing to stop me from speaking the truth. I have no fear of speaking the truth, and I will continue to do so. And in closing, let me say this to you. I waiting to see, watching to see what will be the development with this letter that Brutus liar sent to Travis Chase. As I said, if I were in advisor, I tell you, look at the letter that Attorney Anderson wrote to in the minister case, Barrett, I think Barrett case, and do something likewise and tell them to shove it. Do something likewise, tell them to shove it. Folks, we've had a long day. Again, after the pause, I explained to you the reason for the pause. Let me say this to you. God's willing, next day after tomorrow, Wednesday, we're going to come again to give you another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. We had a lot of stuff. We have lots more to talk about. I want to also, if you look on my page, this very page, you will see me putting up, I put up there a preface of this book on the hijacking of the New Building Society. I encourage you to go on the page, same Speaking Out page, and to read that excerpt. My God, some things are being revealed there. I'm still reading the book. Some things are being revealed should come to the attention of all Guyanese, and I will do so to the best of my ability. The book is available on Amazon, not available in Guyana at this stage. I know many of you have relatives. You just send for barrel. You just ask for barrel. You just ask for sneakers. You just ask for all sorts of things. Ask them to get a copy of the book, The New Building Society, Hijacking of the New Building Society, and send it to you so they can read. And I hope that very soon it will be available at one of the bookshops in Guyana. So those of you in Guyana who are interested can go and you can get a copy. Folks, until we meet again, stay safe. All the accidents on the road, we haven't talked about that in a while, but maybe Wednesday we're going to bring these things to your attention. Stay safe and be well until we meet again, God's willing, on Wednesday. Bye.